Some people have a hard time praying because they know God knows everything they need. So they say, why pray? If He wants to give me it, He will. On Answers for Living, we'll look at this problem. Why pray if God is all-knowing? Well, Matthew chapter 6, verse 7 and 8 says this: when you are praying, do not use thoughtless repetition as the Gentiles do, for they think they will be heard because of their many words. So do not be like them, for your Father knows what you need before you ask Him. So people say, why ask? He already knows. Well, the very next verse, Jesus says, pray then in this way. So what He's saying is that you don't have to use a lot of words because God knows what you need, but you still need to pray. Immediately after saying God knows everything, He tells us to pray. God knows what you need, but He wants to bless your life and meet those needs. But in order to have those needs met, you have to ask. God wants to give you favor. He wants to give you wisdom. He wants to touch your health. He wants to give you wholeness. And God says, I need something from you. You must consent for me to bless you. You need to agree with me that I can pour out blessing upon your life. You do that by asking me to pour out my blessings. Prayer is your way of saying to God, here is my open heart. Here's my open mind. Here's my open life. Here's my open hands. Go ahead and pour out your blessing on me. Show God that you want His blessing by asking. You ask the question, well, how long should I keep asking? Well, that Greek word for ask really translates keep on asking. So if you really want something from God, keep on asking until He gives it to you. Now, there's an interesting story in the Old Testament about David, the king of Israel. You have to understand that kings back in those days had many wives, but David took another man's wife, committed adultery with her, conceived a child with her, and then had her husband killed in battle. And God was really ticked off at David, and God sent Nathan the prophet to confront David about his sin. And God said to David through Nathan, now listen to what he says. Then Nathan said to David, you are the man. The Lord, the God of Israel, says, I anointed you as the king over Israel. I saved you from Saul. I gave you everything that belonged to your master Saul. I even put his wives in your arms. I made you king over all the people of Israel and Judah. Now get this next line. And if all of that had not been enough for you, I would have given you even more. What do you think about that? You think you need something more in your life? What do? You ask God for more. Now don't go off and try to meet your needs the wrong way. You go off and ask. And you keep on asking. You keep on seeking, and you keep on knocking until God pours out His blessing upon your life.